The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Gary Henry with the Lone Star Street Rod Association. He's going to join us, talk about an upcoming event that
everybody needs to go to.
Yeah, and we're going to be there. Konrad will have This Week in Auto History and the Cruise In, and we'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. All that just ahead in this segment of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with our chief engineer and chief bottle washer, Potentate, David Ainsley. We have King Konrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin, always. Yeah. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Matter of fact, let's just go to North Texas right now. Well, what we call North Texas, and go up to the Lone Star Street Rod Association Chief Potentate, Gary Henry. Gary, good morning.
He's muted.
Oh,
you're muted, Gary.
No, he's
on his end.
Jerry, you're muted on your side.
Yeah.
Bottom left corner. Unmute.
Is he there?
Yep. He's there.
There we go.
There we go.
Hello.
There we go.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I'm glad that we're not the only ones to screw it all up because, it's nice to have compatriots in this effort to be online.
Thanks for playing.
My pleasure.
So, Gary, let's start off with what is the Lone Star Street Rod Association? What is that?
Well, Lone Star Street Rod Association, LSSRA, was formed in 1974. And it was started by 16 guys that had this great idea. And today we're up over around 800 members.
Oh, wow.
Statewide.
Just that, wait a minute. That's just in the state of Texas?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's big.
Yeah, it is.
But we also have members as far away as Minnesota, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and other folks around here.
So do you guys have city chapters that gather and organize, let's say, in Houston and Austin and San Antonio, Dallas, El Paso?
No, it's just one major organization. But you've got to remember that it was originally formed to have a venue of communication between members and car clubs around the state. And I publish a monthly publication, the Street Light, and this comes out once a month and gives a venue for people around the state to figure out or see what's going on and what other people are doing around the state
in their area. So kind of a funnel collection of data, of information about what kind of events are in or around different cities around the state. You guys would be a great source for.
Absolutely. I publish a schedule of events that has close to 500 events around the state, and a few of the majors, the good guys in the NSRA events around the country.
So very much focused on the street rodding scene, or do you take events that are like cruise-ins or gatherings that have no fees involved with them?
Well, you've got to figure that cruise-ins, there are so many that I couldn't get all of them in the newsletter. But what we do is get most of the swap meets, the rod runs, that type of thing.
Well, and that's a great focal for resource that's available. But you guys also have an event coming up, don't you?
Oh, yes, we do.
Tell us about it.
This is we call it the State Run, and this has been going on since the organization was formed. It's June 10, 11, and 12 in Granbury. You guys are going to be there. We're looking forward to that. We've the event is confined to pre-1972 vehicles, but it's we're looking forward to a real big turnout this year. Hopefully, it'll be the largest one that we've had so far.
And the facility is
It is at Hewitt Park in Granbury, and if you go to our website, our information page, lssra.com, it has all the information right there.
So
I'll post it.
those dates, that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay, it is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, and we, of course, you guys will be there on the 11th, and we're really looking forward to it. This is the first time that we've had a live podcast from the event.
Well, we're glad to be the first.
Absolutely.
And as you called it a street run or a state run, excuse me. Now, is this organized groups driving into this, open to anybody? I know you said anything pre-1972, but do you have to be a member to come to this, or what are the guidelines
Requirements.
for joining in?
Actually, the run, this particular run has been confined to members only. Now that means that just because you're not a member, that you can join up right there at the registration.
Okay.
The registration for the event is $25, but the membership for the LSSRA is $35 a year. And once again, you get this wonderful monthly publication, and then you also have contact and information from around the state with other people that have your same interest.
Crazy habit of spending more money on your car than you should.
Yeah.
Because it's gorgeous and you have an emotional connection to it.
Exactly. Well, I also do want ads in the newsletter. So if you're trying to sell something, you're trying to find something, we've got a venue right there. People that have a like interest.
Is the newsletter available online as well?
No, it isn't. It's a hard copy, and we've thought about doing that online. We've thought about using a digital format, but we find that the demographics is really like to have that hard copy in your hand.
What are the demographics?
Beg your pardon?
What are the demographics? Besides old, what are the demographics?
Because we're all there.
Because we're right there with you.
Yeah.
Well, it's white hair has a lot to do with it.
Okay. So in other words, 40 and above is pretty much where you're centered.
Well,
Pretty much.
for a multitude of reasons. One is you understand that car, but the other is you have money. Like I just said, you have money to spend on that car.
Yeah.
Some 18-year-old just out of
Let
whatever.
me
it is,
just
he's
tell you,
busy
I
buying.
have a paid-for 2021 Corvette. Listen, and it runs just fine. Do I have extra money to spend on it? No, but I spend it anyway.
I was going to say you've done tires, you've done shifter, you've
Yeah.
done a number of other things.
Yeah. Do you have to have hair?
You don't have to have hair, do you?
No, that's not a prerequisite.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad. What car do you have, or cars?
I've got a 29 Ford two-door sedan.
Nice.
It's been on the road now for about 15 years. Got close to about 100,000 miles on it.
Holy
It's
cow.
been from coast to coast, not on a trailer.
Yeah, I think
And,
I think you sent Mike your newsletter last time we had you on. I believe so. You sent Mike the newsletter, I believe, through the mail.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I've sent a couple, two or three, something like that.
So the 29 Ford. Now, I bet it doesn't have a 29 Ford motor in it.
I've got a 347 stroker motor,
Oh.
AOD transmission, independent rear suspension, and of course the air conditioning.
So you live a
Vintage.
little bit outside the box because you're running a Ford powertrain where everybody thinks initially it's going to have a small block Chevy in it. you're still running a Ford powertrain in yours.
Well, I figure that anybody can put a Chevy in it.
That's right. That's right.
And I'll ask the question because we had them on earlier on the show. Whose air conditioning system is in your 29?
Vintage air, of
Yeah,
course.
there you go.
Out of San Antonio, Texas.
And by the way, this last issue of the Streetlight, we did a really awesome coverage of vintage air, and I spent most of the day with Rick, and we did a complete tour of the
Facilities.
operation.
How cool was that?
Real good overview.
And I would imagine your club of the 800 people, if 700, because probably not all of them have air conditioning, but if 700 of them have air conditioning, 699 of them have a vintage air, unless the car came with factory air.
Yeah.
I would expect so. Everybody except the T Roadsters.
The bucket T roadsters, yes.
Well, who needs air
That's
conditioning
just by nature.
when you're sitting up in the wind, anyhow?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Interesting. So, how many cars, vehicles are you going to have? Because I assume that is registration still ongoing, or is it pretty?
Absolutely. In fact, you can register the day of the event.
Oh, okay.
And right now, we're looking at about 100 or so pre-entries. And this year, we're expecting something between 300 and 400 cars.
Wow, very good.
Very nice. And so I would imagine that knowing our groups the way that we know, there'll be a lot of them. They'll go, okay, yeah, I think we're going to go next weekend. Let's just go ahead and pull the trigger. Yeah, and I'm sure that you will agree with me that there's that segment that
shows up at the last minute.
Yeah.
So
we found that a lot of these things like this are pretty at the moment.
Yeah.
Somebody gives you a call and say, "Hey, do you want to go?" Of course, why not? Let's do it.
Well,
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
is your parking kind of genre specific? Let's say you park all of the muscle car 60s, 70s era cars in this area. You park all of the street rodders of the Fords of the 50s and 40 Fords in this area, the 32 buckets over here, or is it just park where you can?
Well, if you've ever been to a rod run like this, it's whoever gets there for the best place. But you got to figure too that you have parked there in Granbury is beautiful. There's a lot of parking on the grass. There's a lot of shade trees. It's just an excellent venue, and it's we don't try to segregate the like the muscle cars from the roadsters or whatever. It's whoever gets there first and finds their best place.
That's a place with shade in June in North Texas.
Yeah, exactly. I went on the Lone Star Street Rod. I'm sorry, on the Hot Rod Tour of Texas not too long ago, and had a great time, and ran with a group from Carthage, Texas, called Black Smoke Garage. And these are a bunch of diesel guys that, matter of fact, one of them was, I guess, a 40s truck of some sort that had a huge turbocharger sticking out of the hood, and it was kind of a rat rod looking thing. And I will tell you that those guys were just an absolute ton of fun. What a great bunch of guys, and everybody was into, just everybody else's car. I mean, it was just a lot of fun, There was no bragging or anything like that.
That's the fun of going to an event like this is, I have my 70s muscle car. We'll talk about that later. But, I love going to see those cars of the 30s and 40s and what people have done to them to street rod them.
But, Gary, it's not only just that. I think that probably even a more important aspect of owning cars like this is it brings everybody together. You got something in common, and generally speaking, guys that are in a club or organization or go to a meet like yours, it's really the camaraderie, and you got something in common. And yes, the conversation sometimes goes around your car, but it's really about life in general and just hanging out with the guys, if you will.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that everyone comes together. They've all got the same interest, and it's like
Therapy
it's
session.
a convention, yeah, but it's more almost like family. I mean, I can say that I have been to events from coast to coast, and I've made some wonderful friends, and that we have stayed in contact with over the years.
Sure.
May not see them, but maybe once a year, maybe once every 2 years. But it's one of those things that bond has been made, and it's a wonderful thing.
Are there members of your organization that are also members of, say, the Good Guys?
Oh yeah, oh yes. That's not unusual. And you go to an event like this, and you see the stickers on the car. There'll be Good Guys, NSRA, Lone Star, and possibly one of their own individual local clubs.
Yeah.
So
it's
you had talked about $25 to register your car to bring it, but not everybody is going to have a car to bring. Is there a spectator fee?
Oh, of course, and it doesn't cost anything. There's one thing though, that spectators can't bring their car into the venue.
Yeah, they've got to park off off property
Yes.
or in a different
Yeah,
location.
that makes sense.
And the host hotel, which is just across the street from the park, has ample parking there that you can park over there and just walk across the street with a traffic controlled light there.
Very nice.
Come and enjoy everybody's cars. You don't have to be a street rodder to come out and see what everybody else is doing.
LSSRA.com. Gary, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Well, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, and I hope we have a great event.
Well,
Thank you.
I know that you will, and we look forward to it as well. Talk to you soon. Gary Henry with Lone Star Street Rod Association. Okay, couple of things to do this week, and you've got that.
Yeah, the
Did I catch you off guard?
I think I've already done this week. Cars.
No.
You don't need.
Yeah. So the next following weeks is the Houston Cars and Cocktails at Little Woodrow's in Tomball. That's May 29th. That's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. June 11th, here in Houston, the Northside Mustang Open Car Show at Gillow Ford. We'll be at the Lone Star Street Rod Association's meet up in Granbury, and that is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. Going to be well worth coming to. There's going to be some gorgeous cars there, I can just imagine.
Yeah, and if you're up in the North Texas area, most definitely stop by.
And then
George.
Right, from Temple. That's not a far drive to
No.
Granbury. June 24th is a Street Outlaw No Prep out at Baytown. I think that's going to be a huge event. I think they're going to have a ton of people there for that. And then July 15th, the 2022 Corvette Invasion in Bastrop, Texas. Have you looked any further into that?
When is that again?
July 15th, in the absolute heat of the summer in Bastrop. It's going to be at the Bastrop Convention Center, the 15th through the 17th, and starts at 1 p.m. on the 15th and closes at 11 a.m. on the 17th.
Beautiful.
You want me to look that up right now?
Yeah, you can. I can add a couple of more. August 6th is race day at Houston Raceway Park. And remember, this is kind of the end of everything at Houston Raceway Park.
The swan song.
The swan song of all the events, and the NHRA event was awesome. So as some of these others come through.
Well, the 15th is a Friday.
Yep.
16th is a Saturday, and the 17th
is a Sunday.
Is a Sunday. So when is this Corvette thing?
All 3 days.
All 3 days. So I might be able to go up there on Saturday after the show.
Okay.
Yeah, and the Beltway's open. The 99's open. You can get there quicker.
I think that's the wrong side of the Beltway that opened. That would be on the east side.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Boy, and were the Popo busy yesterday on it. I drove the section from I-10 north to 90, saw 4 highway patrol with people pulled over. DPS?
State troopers.
State troopers.
Nice.
So I'm wondering, Officer Woodard, were you out there picking on everybody that was probably flying down the
Why would you do that?
Because you can.
Okay.
Knuckleheads.
This week in auto history, you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. We always like that. We missed that last week.
And I generally will find that story of 1899. Olds Motor Works was incorporated and created with the merger of Olds Motor Vehicles and Olds Gasoline Engine Works, and they came together to become Oldsmobile in 1899. Been around a while.
Yeah.
They're not around anymore.
I know. Don't get me going. I'll start crying. In 1933, the very first police radio system was installed in Eastchester Township in New York by Radio Engineering Laboratories of Long Island.
54,
Where are you? In 1947,
Oh boy.
Ferrari.
David looks up and goes, "What in the hell are they talking about?"
They're
there.
singing in.
Well, he can sing 10 or 12 miles from here. Oh.
Ferrari made its independent racing debut in 1947. Enzo had been designing cars for Alfa Romeo since the 20s and debuted the Tipo 125.
Tipo.
That was the
Tipo Jojo.
Tipo. I always said it Tipo. The 125 with a V12 engine. In its first race, it failed to finish because the engine broke. The fuel pump failed on it. But that was Ferrari's first car with his name on it. And, look at where they are now. In 1980, the Skyway Bridge disaster, if you remember, that was the that was the bridge in Tampa that the barge hit and knocked over. It took them almost a year to rebuild that bridge. What a drive around that was.
Yeah.
In 1994, the French President Mitterrand and Queen Elizabeth jointly opened the channel linking Britain to France with an underground. Oh, there's the.
Yeah, you get them out of sequence.
That's not the channel. So as they had this huge boring train, for lack of a better phrase.
Wait a minute, isn't that what Mars was trying to put in some air intake?
That's it. It's the tornado.
Yeah, so that is a big air intake because a train will fly down that one. But this thing was like a big train that bored its way from England to France under the English Channel. And now that is probably the most popular mode of transportation because they'll actually take what they call lorries, what we would call tractor trailers
Now,
over here.
they couldn't get it out of the tunnel, so they bored it off lane
Right.
and left it underground.
Correct.
It's still under there?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Oh, they probably do have a way you can go see it, but they built another step-off exit for it.
That's what I'd want
off
to
of the
see.
natural channel. In 1988, German automobile company Daimler-Benz, maker of the world's most famous Mercedes, they announced a $36 billion merger with United States-based Chrysler Corporation.
What a disaster that
And
was.
I think they sold it some years later for half price.
Looks nothing like the Hyundai
Yeah, and they
logo.
ruined Chrysler for those years that they had it.
And they still, they might not sell the Crossfire anymore, but the
They
Crossfire.
do not sell that piece of crap.
The Charger was actually based on a Mercedes C-Class vehicle. The chassis was. So, in 1912, the automotive world got lost a giant on that day when Carroll Shelby passed away in 2012, and his history still writes itself today with the Shelby brand. That is this week in automotive history.
Thank you, sir. National Automobile Dealer Association and 12 other trade groups are urging Congress to advance a bipartisan bill that will combat an alarming rise in catalytic converter thefts. And we are going to have an interview with Consumer Reports on that. In the letter sent Monday, the groups asked the committee to hold a hearing on legislation known as the Preventing Auto Recycling Theft, or PART Act, to support the measure. Stolen at a higher rates now because they contain costly precious metals such as platinum, palladium, and rhodium, and are not easily traceable.
Wow.
We're going to go over that. But I did not realize that they're only getting somewhere between $20 and $350 each converter on the black market. I thought it'd been more than that.
Well, it depends on which one it is as to the content of the precious metals that are in it. But I don't know that they're being disassembled for the precious metals as much as they are being resold to fix all the catalytic converters that are stolen.
Yeah, I agree with that.
My opinion. Maybe we'll learn some extra information.
So you mean to tell me that the police can't go and say, "Hey, you selling
You would
catalytic
think
converters?"
The police in Houston have gone into shops and seen stacks of sawed-off catalytic converters and can do nothing about it because those aren't the people who stole it, and the cops cannot prove where they came from, which is why you see places offering to
Put the VINs on.
etch your
Yep.
VIN in or paint it or
Yep.
cage it up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a weird way they're protected within the law of just because I have what are clearly 65 stolen catalytic converters sitting on the floor of my shop.
Can't press
cops-
charges against
the
you
cops
for that.
can't bring charges against me for it.
But if they know who
But
did it, they
that
can
may
do
be some of what this bill is going to address.
So, in other words, you can't put a spy sitting out front of it, and somebody pulls in with a trunkload
yeah.
of catalytic converters.
Yeah,
and
like
arrest them.
doing a drug deal. Bring them
Probable
in, sell
cause.
them catalytic converters, tell them they were stolen. If the guys are smart, they'll, oh no, I don't want them if you stole them. But it's clear that they've been stolen because they've all been sawed off with a hacksaw or sawzall in 30 seconds while they climb under your car.
Well, then there's some recycling places that won't take them.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what about actual junkyards? I mean, I would imagine that every car that goes into a junkyard that's been crashed, burned, or whatever, they've all got catalytic converters in there.
And that could be what the reseller is saying that's where his came from.
Yep.
I don't know, but hopefully, the interview we have next, we give us some light on
Well,
that.
the TV show we saw not long ago, I think we all kind of watched a little bit of it, where they had a special tool. They, instead of doing the saw, they used the crimper. That
They
the
use
fire-
a cutter,
the
like
cutter,
a
yeah.
Jaws
But
of Life
that
cutter.
was their car, their product, and they
Right.
were stripping it for that reason because it's a salvage yard.
But again, catalytic converters theft has become extremely dangerous here in Houston because you're always hearing
How
about
the,
gunfire.
The Sugarland police officer that
Yeah.
caught him, guy pulled a gun, and the gun jammed, and the officer shot the guy
Yeah.
right out here in the field, not too
very
far from here.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? I didn't realize it was that close. I
Yeah.
knew it was Sugarland.
It was like 3:00 in the morning or
Something
something.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But then there was
He's
a rash
dead.
of those.
well, 2 center mass and 1 to the head ends recidivism.
There's
Good guys
that.
one, bad guys nothing.
All right. Time now for a quick break here on the In Real Time Car Show. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Father's Day weekend, Saturday, June 18th, 2022. It's the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you're invited. Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition will be at the same Loopy Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. on Saturday, June 18th. It's the only place cruisers compete for trophies and other prizes. Enter your vehicle for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in and is your opportunity to see the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, and get Loopy Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no entry fee, and cars will automatically compete for custom Loopy trophies and other prizes. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Kick off summer with Tailpipes and Tacos Father's Day edition, Saturday, June 18th. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Celebrate Father's Day, the start of summer, and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos. Saturday morning, June 18th, 8 to 11. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Want to take a minute to tell you about Gulf Coast Auto Shield, a Houston detail company like no other. Gulf Coast Auto Shield offers paint correction services that'll give your car, truck, or SUV a like-new shine. Afterwards, you'll want to protect it with a professionally installed nano-ceramic coating or protection film. Worried about your very expensive windshield getting damaged, broken, or cracked? Let Gulf Coast Auto Shield install ExoShield, a windshield protection film. Give John Gray a call today or check out their website, gcautoshield.com. Hey, whether you own a new, ultra-expensive, exotic, or a 5-year-old Suburban, Gulf Coast Auto Shield will help keep your investment looking like the day it rolled off the assembly line. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is conveniently located on the South Sam Houston Parkway, just south of I-69, the Southwest Freeway. Meet the staff and check out all of their services online right now at gcautoshield.com. The In Real Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via inwheeltime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeart Radio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeart Radio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/InWheelTimeCarTalk.